Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for August 2nd through 6th, 2021. Well, here we are in the month of August, and it's been really interesting throughout the year of 2021. Very different energies, month per month. Indeed, here we are moving into August with powerful messages of where we're at and where we're going. And maybe that with the moon in Gemini for this next couple of days, a rebirth of the feeling of not knowing where we're going or what we're doing. Now, this is really compounded in an inner psychic pressure, because today we have this is quite the lining up happening here as we move into the month of August of the Sun and Mercury exact together at 10 degrees Leo. Now, the Sun is who do we think we are? Mercury, our mind, our conceptual reality. And so when Mercury and the Sun coming together, it's the meeting of higher and lower minds. It's trying to join together our bigger spiritual potential and purpose and our everyday reality, right? And so here we have these together right at 10 degrees Leo, directly, exactly across from Saturn at 10 degrees Aquarius retrograde. Saturn retrograding in Aquarius, bringing this energy of like, how do we build in the new? What are we really doing? Aquarius has a way of, it's a visionary energy, when you get that excitement, you get that vision and you see and you kind of put it out in energy. Oh, I can see this vision of what's possible. And then the practical, everyday, real world, physical reality steps, often quite a different process. And that's exactly what Saturn represents. So this astrology represents the energies. There's a deep mystery with Saturn. Saturn represents the old guard. It's the holding of the original plan. But in our evolution, it also speaks to the absconding of the original plan and the control energies that have been seeking to hold back our spiritual evolution. So it's got this energy of karma. It's like, oh, no, you don't. This feeling of forces working against you. And what it seems to be bringing out for the Supernova Soul is a feeling that you have been running from for lifetimes. And here it is right there in front of your face. And this energy goes along with this Mercury Sun opposite Saturn. Who am I? What am I doing here? What's the point? Now, this is the key to everything in our evolution and in human condition, the human psyche. Inevitably, when you go through spiritual awakening, and come into the consciousness, this whole point, I'll tell you right now, the whole point is to get back to God consciousness, which is who we are in the first place, but we thought we were something else. So there's an interesting energy of this disillusionment coming up around the practical steps and what's really going on. I thought we were having a spiritual awakening and we're never getting anywhere. And what is the point? And now these feelings are really important. Now, part of it is that we need to understand that these are programming. Right. And the feelings that are coming up in the programmed reality for Supernova Souls is, what's the point? Why am I even here? What is my purpose? What am I even doing here? And it's kind of a, what can I do to help? The world is going to shit, and I can't do anything about it. Right. This helpless victim. Now, I have to, it's really important to understand that this is programming. And this feeling is so huge. This is the deepest, darkest place within Supernova Souls. It's the deepest, darkest esoteric depression that you have been running from your whole life. This massive potential inside of you that has not been able to be expressed, while the world goes to hell and you have to sit by on the sidelines and do nothing. This is the trap. And it's our own psychological trap that keeps us immobilized. And it's also the reality of our Saturnian situation in this evolution right now. But the important thing to realize is that these feelings aren't going away, because it's time for Supernova Souls to face these feelings. And these feelings, even though they're programming, The reason why it's so important for us to address and be present with these feelings is that they've gone on for lifetimes, right? And this is where we get to the trap. All these stories and all these roles we played out and all these so-called failures, because everything was working against the light. Everything was working against healing. Everything's working against harmony. Now, this has created a very interesting situation that's coming up with the Saturn transit. Saturn represents false authority, where we've given our power over it represents the rules and laws of this universe. So it's like where we have agreed and capitulated to the rules and laws of the universe, right? But we're moving into the Aquarian age. It's whole new rules and laws. And in the Aquarian age, rather than being sidelined and cast aside and disempowered and everything going against what you bring, in the new rules, the new laws of the Aquarian age, Saturn and Aquarius, is you are the wealth of this world. You are the wealth of this world. And it's crazy because, for lifetimes in your family and friends and these karmic relationships, all have sought to keep you disconnected, disempowered. That's not even real. Gaslighting. So our way out of the matrix trap right now is coming to the surface, but it's coming to the surface with this big ball of negative emotions. As we face the madness of this world, we face our deep grief at not being able to do anything about it, of being here as an advanced soul with so much potential inside and yet hogtied. And then what? You feel shitty about yourself, and then you hate yourself, and then you feel like I got to do something, but there's nothing I can do, and the world won't let me do anything. And these are the feelings that have been gone on in the psyche that are the programming. But if you understand, it's been lifetimes of this, and that's why it's so huge. It's everything, because you can have all the access to life force, but if you're not executing that life force, using it, and how do we use this life force? How do we act out our God consciousness? That's with purpose and meaning. It's everything. And without purpose and meaning in life, we have nothing, which is exactly where they want us to be. The control energy is keeping us in, goes all the way back to those bullshit stories of Atlantean time and the guilt and shame that's been programmed into humanity. You're powerless, you're a victim, you can't do anything. And until we face these feelings within us, we're never going to get out of the trap. Now, though, these feelings that are coming up with this astrology has everything to do with those old stories. And so what this is giving us the opportunity to do is separate out, because when we're like, oh, I don't have a purpose and I failed and it's all connected to a specific idea of what you thought you were here to do. Right? This ego death, right? So we're having an opportunity to disconnect and separate out the stories of our purpose. Because the trap is that the stories and all that narrative stole our purpose. Said we failed and we aren't capable and we can't do it and we got to just put up and shut up until something happens. This is such a strange time that we're in. And it's one of those times where it's like the messages are coming in of guidance, but they make less sense than not having the message at all, right? And the message right now has to do with, maybe it'll make more sense to you and we can clarify together, right? This is the power of supernova souls coming together in their consciousness and their connection, right? But there's something that needs to be played out that has to do with the free will energy, and that advanced souls, energies, not in a body, that have interfered with human evolution, trying to help human evolution, right? And now it's like there's this energy, and I don't know if it's an agenda or if it's like the natural course of the ideal timeline. This is really what we're coming down to. When we get back into purpose and when we get into meaning and we get into our execution of life force, once we're in a specific idea of what that means, then we're stuck back in the old stories. So we need to be working outside of agenda. So maybe it is an agenda, because the pitfall of the supernova soul, an empowered advanced soul here in a body in 3D reality, is that because of your purity, because of your advancement, because of all the wisdom you have inside of you and all your experiences, that lent you to be very sensitive and empathic and overly trusting. This is part of the reason karmically we're here, right? But again and again throughout the story that's exposed in past life stories of supernova souls that I've read, past life pictures, there's this thing that happens again and again where you think you're being helped by some sort of counsel, by some sort of guide, by some sort of power, some sort of angel. And then it turns out that you are being deliberately distracted from who you are and your power within. Now, that power within can't go anywhere. Nobody can take it. It's only getting stronger. That's why nothing can stop the spiritual awakening. The potency and power of the souls that are here embodied on the earth right now, you never know it from looking at the news, right? Because it's that same story. It goes, oh, we own you and you can't do anything about it, you know? And it's like, ooh. And here we are, we're teetering on the edge of humanity coming into understanding their true potential. And you, Supernova Soul, are here to lead the way. And so you have to understand that these deep, dark feelings that keep coming up that you've been running from, that you might not even know this is what it is, but this feeling of hopelessness, like you can't do anything, you're stuck here, you just have to sit and wait for something. That's a big part of this. So all of these, even the spiritual narratives, are still narratives. And the spiritual stories and this guidance, it's all bullshit, keeping us distracted from our own power. That's why I always encourage, just be really careful. I mean, I think this astrology is speaking to exactly this, is that we've had this false guidance and we've given our power over where we never should have given it over. And that's what humanity has to come to terms with. And Supernova Soul, you need to come to terms with that. So are you feeling alone in the wilderness? Are you feeling like you're stuck in this place where you cannot do anything, and yet there's so much within you, and the pressure of that is getting so uncomfortable? It's like a ticking time bomb. And then the narrative says, you can't do anything. Oh, you got to wait till the right time. And it's like, wait, time is an illusion. And there's nothing else to wait for. And what if the world is waiting on us? Because there's so much potential here. But so it appears that this time of where the agenda needs to play out, the dark agenda needs to play out uninterfered with, completely unleashed. And it's brings, for those that are aware of this and see the deeper stories, it's very disturbing and it makes you sick to your stomach. And it's like, how are we going to get out of this mess, humanity? And you know what? You feel all that because you feel. You feel all that because you're human, because you are an advanced soul, because you're not numb to this experience. You're alive, you're here. And that brings me back to this. We've been talking about our immune system and our life force and claiming that back. And now we're coming to this energy of the Sun, Mercury opposite Saturn. Really, you cannot access, use, execute, and be a part of the life force that you are, your God-given right to this life force, if you're not living in purpose. And this is exactly the agenda over lifetimes, trying to keep you disconnected from the fact that you have a bigger purpose, keep you trapped in these old stories that your purpose was some sort of thing that you failed and can never complete. So it's such an intense time, and know that these feelings are coming up so strong because it's time for you to get out of the trap. The feelings are lifetimes of feelings, and they've been suppressed within you. And that suppression, this deep esoteric pain of not being able to be in your glory, is eating away at you. It's fruit that's ripe that has not yet been picked and expressed. It's rotting. And so it's really important for us to pay attention to these feelings, to understand the programming over lifetimes, but also face this. And what we're being asked to do, it's very interesting because it's actually like, it's a very frustrating time for advanced souls, because for your lifetime and past lives too, the shift of ages into the Piscean age was all about mystical spiritual revelation. It was all about the light is guiding you. You're here. We're walking together. You hold hands. We're, and bringing the spiritual force to the planet. Now, all that in this lower matrix reality of technological grid is cut off. But maybe that's a blessing, because that means no more false guidance, because there's only one place you can go, and that's to your higher self. Direct to your higher self, your highest, your future self, that's right there in alignment with creation consciousness, And this is this very profound and deeply disturbing process of that ego death of like, oh, all of what I thought, is your vision of purpose connected to some specific idea of a role you're supposed to play, and it's pushing us to come out of all agendas, right? Because we're here to operate in our one true agenda, which is the plan, right? It's like we're taking back Saturn from Saturn and that original plan and the true potential of humans and the earth. Now, this is a reality that our outside world and everybody around you by design is constantly invalidating for you, constantly questioning and gaslighting you and your truth. And so what we're being asked to do right now is to build a bridge to that truth, to be in that resolute, determined truth. Understand that all pathways are being cut off, even though we know our soul group is there, even though we know we're so much more. The faith that's going to get you through this time right now is exactly what's hidden underneath all those dark feelings. You're so much more. You are a jewel, a treasure we need so badly on the planet. Thank God you're here. And so it's like you can see that the low self-worth programming in humanity all the way back from Atlantean time is all designed to keep humans from their potential. And here you are, an advanced soul with massive supernova potential. And it's about to break, but there's nobody around you that can validate it or support it. There's no guidance. It's just like this empty room you've been put in, quarantine. So this is where we're being asked to build a bridge to our truth, to our knowing that there's so much more inside of us, to our knowing that there's so much more to this reality, to beyond this reality, and to live and breathe in that place. It makes me think of like the story of Yeshua, Jesus in the wilderness, right? And even though we're in the true esoteric understanding of the story of Yeshua is about transfiguration, him showing us what we are all capable of, coming into our light body and overcoming the physical, right? Now, deep, deep mysteries here that we're just beginning to kind of understand, right? But even though he's here and he's willingly going through this death experience, this ego death experience, and coming into his full embodiment of light, he still has this moment where there's this, why hath thou forsaken me? Father, why hath thou forsaken me? And I think this is this place we're at right now. And if you can remember that place is just before we break out into more of our full potential. Now, you have to understand that everything wrong in your life as SuperNova Soul, and I think humans in general, but they're mostly disconnected from how they feel. But it's like for you who are connected, everything wrong in your life is because of your potential not yet expressed. And yet, of course, then we go like, oh, I'm not doing it. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve it. And then you beat yourself up more. And then you're hiding more from your potential. And but again, this is our moment where we're separating out our potential from the stories of who we are and our potential. That's the trap. This is why so much has gone into erasing the memory of our past, of creating a false memory in false historical stories to keep exactly you guys, SuperNova Souls, from remembering who you are. And so much has gone up to block our connection to the Akashic records, to the true history that's written. Our own history is written. We have access to that. That's our God-given right. And but this is what we're doing. We're sorting out all the stories of what the world is telling us is the truth. And it's so far away from this truth. And we need to build a bridge here, and we need to be there, and we need to use everything in our daily life, every moment, to be there, because we know that time doesn't exist. Are you starting to have this feeling? I mean, time's moving really fast, moving really slow. It's like all strange. And maybe the only thing keeping humanity back is time, the concept of time. And we have to question the narrative that says we've got to wait for something. But then we've got this interesting thing playing out. See, it's like we have levels of authority, and you will break through a level of authority, a contractual arrangement from a past life, and then you'll go to another level. And so we've got earthly authority contracts and structures here, countries we've been loyal to, agendas we've been loyal to, councils we've been loyal to, political organizations. And then there's galactic levels, right? So something is saying that there needs to be a period of non-intervention, and that the negative forces need free reign to demonstrate, the belly of the beast. But that's incredibly painful for supernova souls who have dedicated. See, now this is where, okay, because the Sun and Mercury are together exactly opposite Saturn. And it's like, how do we get back our world from Saturn, from these authority contracts and the false plan? And who are we in this world? Do we have purpose? Now, this is the power of this esoteric depression place, where it's like, if you don't have a purpose here, what the hell are you doing with all that's inside of you? You are being wasted, disrespected, dishonored, and you're the number one person holding that in place, right? We all are. And this Mercury and the Sun will go on to square Uranus, right? So this is why it's such a bloom of these very esoteric past life but personal feelings right now, because it's the Saturn square Uranus speaking to how do we make this shift into the new age. And Uranus and Taurus is a revolution of wealth. And so it's saying that it's time to unlock the wealth within you. And how do you do that? How can we ever have anybody appreciate what we have to offer when we're not willing to value and honor it? And this is supernova souls. Can you imagine supernova souls standing up together being like, guess what? We see the wealth within us now, and we will no longer be treated like garbage. You have absconded and wasted the most beautiful, precious gift on earth of these advanced souls. You have misled us again and again from purpose, from meaning, from life, and became the persecuted. And it's like, now these souls are being like, and this is exactly in alignment with humanity and exactly in alignment with the disclosure of truth. The disclosure in truth, metaphorically, is the disclosure of the wealth within the supernova soul and humanity in general. But you guys already have worked with this wealth in a way that you can demonstrate it. That's the definition of a supernova soul. You've just had prior experience. It doesn't mean you're better or worse. It's just more experience. It's more purification. It's more soul work. And are you going to continue to let yourself be trod upon like garbage, like the doormat? No. This is supernova souls saying, hey, we're the wealth of this world. And we've been wasted here and kicked to the curb and treated like nothing. And maybe that's part of it, right? Because we got to embrace the nothing, because we don't want to be those stories anymore. We don't want to play out. Any story is playing out agenda. And now we have to come into the will, thy will. It's all we ever were, but now we get to do it consciously. And this experience of God's will expressed the creation energy in full alignment with that optimal experience, that divine timeline. It's not agenda, you know? So, but that emptiness, that loss, that depression, all has to go away with those old stories as we sort out and take back our potential. The true experience you want here is this expression of God's will. That's your will too. We're rolling with Creator. We are learning how to be creators. And so the joy, the presence, the purpose comes from when we're in alignment. And, those old stories serve to get us on these agendas. And it's like, no, that never was in alignment with who you are in your truth as a supernova soul. So really, really powerful times. And just know that this is about unlocking the wealth of human potential. And you, since you've already had more experience with this human potential as a spirit, advanced soul in a body, you're here to lead the way. And it's unlocking of your wealth. But nothing can be done. No purpose can come while we're still poo-pooing what's inside of us in our wealth, right? It's like, are you ready to honor the treasure? Because how can you receive the love of God that is expressed in your advanced spiritual gifts if you don't deserve it? How can you give it to anybody else if you can't receive it for yourself? We've got to receive the abundance that we are and start treating it in the sacred as the sacred, valuable treasure that we are. And say, everybody around you, not in a way of like, ego and all this, but it's like, I've built a bridge now back to my truth. And you and everyone else who's going to come near me in my sphere will now honor and recognize that truth. Period. And stop letting this outside world dictate our reality and start dictating the truth through our projection in our moment, and using these times to just build that bridge and come right back to what really matters, and hold this torch for humanity that is you and your light within that has been hidden and now revealed. Because what's going on is that we've got Mars has been opposite Jupiter at that 0 point, right? Now Mars and Jupiter are coming out of their opposition. We just feel this through tomorrow. But Mars is in a square to Black Moon Lilith through this whole week. And this is really powerful because Mars wants to go in Virgo, wants to clean up, get organized, get down to work, get practical, this is maybe part of the feeling we're feeling. Like, what is the point? Like, how much more time am I going to waste here as an advanced soul in a straitjacket doing nothing when I have so much within me, right? And then, but Mars wants to go forward on this cleaning up, which is exactly, so the deal is that everything hidden easily gets programmed with shame, and you became hidden, and the teachings became hidden, and the spirit became hidden. And it was like, well, we got to do this in order to keep it safe. Maybe that was all agenda to keep you hidden from yourself, and to keep spirit hidden from humanity, and to keep you disempowered. And have you had enough now? And so Mars for Black Moon Lilith, because Black Moon Lilith is coming to 2 degrees Gemini this week. And so moving into this Gemini energy, which is about communication and expression of all that's been hidden within. And yet we can't do that while we are agreeing and being complicit to the shame programming. And that is so connected to these feelings that are coming up for the supernova soul of what in the F is the point? Oh, you're the point. What are we waiting for? And so really powerful energies. I hope you have a wonderful week, and just know that we're in this massive shifting time. We're having a bloom of old feelings, and we've been running from these feelings. And so time to reconcile. And when we reconcile, that's this uncovering of this wealth, right? It's almost like, you know, I'm seeing a picture of at the end of the day, and you got to go through the till, right? And you got to, as a cashier, you got to sort out the credit cards and the cash and make sure that it all adds up with the sales. And this is exactly what's going on. We're having this karmic reconciliation on the planet, you know? Because these forces that have controlled humanity are working outside. This is Saturn. When they stole the divine plan, they stole the karmic ramifications. And there's a whole set of souls that aren't even souls that are working outside of the spiritual karmic laws. Yet all of it is happening within the play of creation. But at some point, that reconciliation has to occur. And that's a shift of ages. And that's this revolution of wealth, where it's like all of the fake lies and people we've trusted and worshiped, and we find out how horrible they are. No human values, right? Just completely self-serving, and to the point of destruction of the psyche of human consciousness. And now then, how can we expose that corruption and lies without the true wealth coming to the surface, you know? So we're right here teetering on the edge, and I can feel in Supernova Souls a big bloom of all these feelings you've been running from. Well, tomorrow will be better. It's okay. I'll just be present, da, 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 da. And it's like, we got to get to the bottom of this. We got to get out from under the boulder of this shame that allows us to continue to play small and let that bullshit, fake Maya illusion programming reality dictate our reality. So build that bridge, be in your truth, be in your knowing. You're so much more. That's your God self. This is so much more real than anything else here in this Maya play. So build that bridge to your truth. As you build your bridge back to Creator, your direct connection, that place outside of duality consciousness, and just bring yourself back there and begin to, like find that. So maybe it's like when we do succumb to and understand our role in the divine plan, then we can honor the divine plan being enacted within us and make sure that everyone around us respects and honors this precious, precious gift. And so thank you so much for being here, being a Supernova Soul, making it through all you've made it through. Know this is a huge bloom, but it's time to get out from under those feelings for good and back into the excitement of what it means to really live. And so we're doing it here together. And so sit tight, be present, keep breathing, build that bridge, and let's meet there together on the other side. So, so much love to you, Supernova Souls. I look forward to seeing you soon on the next update. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.